Hey y'all, welcome to the family that reads a lot. I have a fairly giant stack of books here. It feels giant, maybe it's just because they're big books, but it feels big. Um, this is kind of new to us actually, but not new, if that makes sense. We are switching from a packaged style science curriculum for the younger years. And my son is moving on to high school science, so he will be on his own this year. My daughter doesn't love the science we've been doing. It's a good curriculum, it's well done, it's all the things. We found out this year that or not this year really, we found out last school year that she has ADHD, inattentive ADHD. So sitting for a long time and listening to somebody talk to her or at her or whatever is really difficult for her. And there were a lot of struggles with science last year because that's kind of how our curriculum was set up. It was a family style where you would sit and read something and kind of discuss it. And there may be a video or a hands on or something, but there was a lot of information coming at her. And we realized one, that she was not retaining it like at all, not hardly at all. And two, she would fight me on it almost daily. So this is a new way of doing science for us. We are switching to I don't know what you want to call it, living book science, Charlotte Mason-y science. Um, we're not really following like a program or following anybody's necessarily like, this is how you have to do it. We're making it up on our own. And that's nice. We tried this at the end of last year. So, how it's going to work, she's going to pick a subject matter in the science realm and she's going to study that for at least 3 weeks. That's my commitment that I want out of her, is to study it for 3 weeks so that it's not just super choppy and she's getting teeny tiny bits and pieces. Um, so we tried this at the end of last year because I always do the try it before you buy it thing with any homeschool curriculum. We try it for a little while. If it works, we continue. If it doesn't, we don't. So she did this for the last 3 weeks of school the prior year. Her subject then was space. We went to the library and got a ton of books on space. I created a YouTube playlist for her on space. She picked out TV shows on space. She found experiments. She found a book of experiments on space, and her dad did those together. She has thrived with this, y'all. Thrived. Loved it. No arguments. Asked to do it without being asked. Asked to sit down and go through it. I mean, just, it's been like a godsend. Seriously, it's been amazing. So we are going to continue with that this year. You know, the new wears off of everything. So I'm not going to say that this is going to work forever. I'm not going to say it's perfect or anything else. But we're going to try it for an entire school year and see how it goes. Now, I wanted to show y'all the books that I pulled from the library for her. So the first subject that she picked for her first 3 weeks is weather and seasons specifically. So she wants to learn general weather things and about the weather and how it works and all that, but she specifically wanted to spend some time learning about the different seasons, why they happen, how they happen. Like, she, from her space, I think is where part of this came from. She wanted to learn, the earth is tilted this way and it creates this season on this side and all these different things. And that was what she asked for. So that's what we're going with. Now, I will tell you, not all these books are on her level. Some of these are super, super easy, and that's okay. Some of these we pulled strictly because I know she can sit down and within like 10 minutes read this book and go with it. She's going to have a journal, so she's going to have a composition book that she will have. She picked this one because it's got animals and things all over it. And she's taking notes. So she's doing, if you want to get fancy with it, she's journaling. She's taking notes. Sometimes she may draw on it, sometimes she may not. I'm not asking her to make it fancy or colorful or cut and glue things. I just want to know that she's learning the information. So she grabs her notebook and she grabs her book and she goes and finds a spot in her room, in the living room, in a corner somewhere, wherever she wants to be, and is able to sit and read a book based on her science subject, take some notes, and then she comes back and we discuss it. And it has been awesome. So let's jump into the books. So starting with the super, super simple, like she's learned science before. This is not the first time she's ever touched science. Let's go with the basic. She is 9 years old, going into fourth grade public school. We kind of do fifth grade-ish stuff. It just, if you homeschool, this one is super, super simple, right? So condensation, humidity, evaporation. This is the basics of the water cycle, but that's a good place to start. She can sit down and read this in probably 10 minutes max, and she's done. A couple other simple things that we got. How do we know it's spring? So what are the signs of spring? So this one does go into the mechanics of it. So this is How Do We Know It's Spring by Molly Aloian, Aloian. I don't know how to say that. But it goes into why it happens, but then just goes into some of the fun things of spring, plants in spring, blooming, blossoming, animals in spring, spring in action, people getting outside, planting things in spring. Same thing. Simple, fun, easy. When maybe she's not feeling like going in depth, these are perfect for her to grab. How do we know it's fall? Exact same thing, breaks it down, starts at the beginning, goes to the end. This one, and is that by the same person? Yes, it is. Molly with the last name I can't pronounce, but I'll link it down below. Cycles of the Seasons. So this one walks through different seasonal patterns, um, shows you what signals happen at the beginning, like talks about rotation and revolution and all that she wanted to learn about what causes spring. Then we get into our more in-depth books. So those are easy pulls for her. It's maybe the first day of our unit, it's maybe the last day of our unit, it's maybe just a day that she really doesn't feel like doing science, but I'm going to make her do it anyway. That's what she's probably going to grab. Now, on other days, so we got these two. If y'all have seen my videos before, we kind of love these DK eyewitness books. They've revamped a lot of these and made them a little more user friendly. They're a little less busy. And this one is about weather. And this goes way in depth, right? So it's forecasting and models and watching the weather, the science of weather, talking about all the way from the ancient Galileo watching weather to current day radars and things. Talks about rain, clouds, fronts, lows, weather patterns, coastal areas, how the weather can change in a day. It talks a little bit about wind, snow, all the different types of precipitation. There's a ton of information in here. Do I think she'll sit down and read this whole book? Probably not. If she decides that weather is her dig and she loves this subject, she could. She might. But if she does, either way, it's there for her to look at. Same thing, we got the one on hurricane and tornadoes. We live in Texas near the coast, so we are near hurricanes. Given the way the weather's been this year, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a hurricane this year. So those are good teaching moments. Even if it's not that it comes here, if she's watching me watch the weather or something else, they're going to mention tropical storms and all these different things. We actually, my son and I were at summer camp this year, and there was a tornado. Not where we were fine, everything was fine, but we talked a lot about that. So that may be something she's interested in. So tons of information in these books. Like, these are the overage of information. But I like to have them here because if there's something she wants to know more about, she can flip to that area of that book and not have to sit and read that entire book. She's just like, okay, I'm going to read the part on tornadoes, or okay, I'm going to read the part on fronts because we were talking about that, or whatever. She grabbed this one. It's 100 Facts You Should Know Weather. So this is kind of a simple, like, just different facts. It's number 34. Snow is made of tiny ice crystals. When air temperatures are very cold, around 32 degrees, the water droplets in the clouds freeze to make tiny ice crystals. Sometimes individual crystals fall, but usually they clump together into snowflakes. Simple things like that, but she enjoys these kinds of books. Number 12, the Sahara is the sunniest place on Earth. The North African desert once had 4,300 hours of sunshine in a year. People who live here, such as the Tuareg Arabs, hope I didn't mess that up, cover their skin to avoid being sunburnt. So just lots of fun, interesting facts, and she loves these kind of books, the fact-based books. Now, I always try and throw in any type of science situation a like job within that realm. So this is a true book. These are by Scholastic. We've used these for years on different things. This one is about meteorology. So it's like, what does a meteorologist do? How do they study it? These are simple. They're not super hard. They're not super easy. They're somewhere in the middle. Talks about precipitation, all these things, weather satellites, weather balloons, just gives a breakdown on what they do and how they use the different science tools to do their job. So always throw in a job book into those. These are some that she saw and thought were beautiful, and so she grabbed them. Awesome Autumn. Does it necessarily have to do with weather? Well, not necessarily. But if she wants to read these, that's totally fine too, because it's in that realm and she's learning. So it's harvesting crops and machines. And there was a thing in here on chlorophyll and how the different what animals do in autumn and stuff like this. This will be a fun one that she will just be interested to read. Same thing. She'll probably go through this book in a day. But she thought it looked really cool and really interesting. Same thing, Spectacular Spring. So her two seasons that she wanted to learn about the most were spring and autumn. These are both by Bruce Goldstone. Um, but really like nice quality pictures. What are the different colors of a rainbow? The different flowers. It gives you the name of the flowers and the trees and things like that. How a plant sprouts. A lot of this she already knows, but it'll be fun and interesting. Baby animals in spring, stuff like that. So she picked those two. This one is Wild at Heart. It's the story of Olaus and Mary, defenders of nature. So it's basically these people who were, why can I not come up with the word right now? Early like ecologists. What's the word? They fell in love. They fell in love in and with Alaska, then set out on an adventure across the Arctic to Olaus's work for Olaus's work as a biologist, encountering the beauty and danger of the wilds along the way. They learned from indigenous communities to appreciate the interconnectedness of all the living creatures and understood that the way humans were moving in the wild land was threatening the natural world. So this is about biologists. Now, am I necessarily going to agree with everything in this book? No, and that's okay. Not every book has to be that way. But that's just another one that she saw and was totally interested in. Then I also have our old science unit on weather. So I do have that. And I have a National Geographic book. I'll see if I can put a picture of it up. Everything Weather. I've already given her those, so I don't know where they are. But that one is kind of like the DK books. It breaks it down. It has lots of information. Let me go see if I can find it. Okay, y'all. So funny story. I went back to edit this video. It's now like 2 weeks later. And I realized that I went to get that book and got completely distracted. There was school stuff going on. We were busy. I don't know. I just walked away and I guess got busy and never came back. This is the book that I went looking for and I did find it. It's Everything Weather by National Geographic Kids. I really, really wanted to show this book to y'all because we have had this book for years and it is held up to the test of time and both kids. It has not fallen apart and it's just well done. They both enjoyed looking at this book at different times. She's obviously going to use it now, but it's got some cool, fun pictures, facts, different things in it. It's a lighter version than like the DK books that can get really long. This one's only like 50 pages long. And a lot of that is just, cover pages and stuff like that. But it talks about pressures and mesospheres and stratospheres and all the different things. She won't read it to completion, but it's one that I really wanted to show y'all because it's a very good book. Now, little fun fact, because it is 2 weeks later, I can tell you that she thoroughly enjoyed this unit. She thoroughly enjoyed the seasons books that I just like kind of just showed y'all in this video. She's already read all of those. She hasn't gotten to the weather side of things yet, but this has been great. This has been life-giving. She is back to loving science and not fighting me on it and all of the things. So if you need a change, let me just kind of recommend this Charlotte Masony, journally, whatever you want to call it, living book. I don't know. It, like, pick a name, I don't care, because it works. And it's working really well for us. That's not to say that it'll work for everybody, but it's been a nice breath of fresh air. I don't know that we'll stick with this forever. We may go back to something more like more unit studies, more narrow, whatever, in a year or something. But for this school year, this is the breath of fresh air that we needed. So I hope y'all found something you liked. And I'm going to try and do some different things like this because we are kind of following this trend for our American history. So look for that video coming up. And until the next time, y'all go read a lot. Thanks.